What's happening, people? Paddy the Baddy here, and we're about to sit down and watch some of my best moments ever from inside the cage. This was my first fight in the Echo Arena. It was a big fight at the time. We were both highly touted prospects. We were both getting spoke about as being like the next big things in the country, and CONRAD's never fought again. I don't want to be in a city and go, oh, I retired him. But I don't know what happened, to be honest. Don't know why he never ever fought again. Something I do need to mention about this fight, I missed weight by a big margin. I missed weight by like £5. After this fight, I got made to move up to featherweight. I wasn't allowed to fight at bantamweight no more. Oh, straight away there, I hit him with this question mark kick and a snapper's nose for him. And because of that, he tries to shoot in. CONRAD was known as a striker, wasn't known as a grappler, and it forced him to engage in a grappling exchange with me. And anyone that shoots in against me on the cage, he got switched. Nice and easy. It was a minimal effort, the sort of stuff I enjoy doing. But there we are. The flying triangle. This is my perfect setup. In jiu-jitsu, when you go for the triangle, you can't do nothing else, so all you gotta do is try and pull your head down. When I do it in MMA, I can sit there elbowing you as many times as I want. It scrambles the brain a bit. That forced CONRAD to then try and slam me. As soon as you try and slam me, you get put straight into the choke even more. That slow-mo was absolutely sexy, you know. Like, the flying triangle is a risky move. That's why you don't really see people going for it. But when you're good at it and you're confident in it, you can do it. I'm on the bottom just chipping away with the elbows. And in the end, CONRAD's trying to escape the triangle that much that I get my angle. And I can also twist on the arm. And that's when he taps. I had a proper bad haircut that day as well. A barber had cut my hair like a week before and he'd ruined my hair. From then on, that was when I started going to a hairdresser's. After that CONRAD fight, as I realised every time you go to a barber to get scissor happy. This is my favourite fight. The fight after CONRAD, my featherweight debut. He was 3-2, but he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and his 2 losses were against like very good people on the UK scene. He took hard fights so young in his career. Just like the last fight, first 10 seconds I head kicked CONRAD, scrambled his brain. Look what happens to me in 10 seconds here. Sleep, kid. He actually put me asleep and then woke me back up. He steps in, hits me with a left hook, he cleans me. I'm absolutely unconscious mid-air. I'm going down. And then he hits me with a right hand on the way down and wakes me back up. That's by far the most hurt I've been in the ring. That's why it always makes me laugh when people say, oh, he's been rocked in both his UFC fights, when I haven't. And then he starts ground and pounding, and he wakes me up, and I start circling out, and within 10 seconds I'm back up on my feet. That's how I roll. Nice takedown off the wall. But this now is my favourite thing ever from a fight. Punch, knee, elbow. We'll change that, it wasn't elbow, that was HELLBOW. I've never seen so much blood come out of someone's head that quick. I elbowed him and there was blood down my arm where it squirted out that quick over my arm. He had like a proper Harry Potter scar. Harry Potter? And I was like walking back over towards my corner, and I'll never forget turning around and just screaming at him, just going, ah! It's the first ever time that I danced around in the cage as well after the run. I just started going bananas. Next one, Teddy Violet, very good fighter. I don't think I can give him enough credit going into the fight that he deserved. I used to overlook a lot of people, to be honest. Back then, when I was just beating people, I never even trained seriously. Never mind took people seriously. To be honest, this is another little bit of an embarrassing one for me. This one I missed weight again by like £5 or £6. I'd fought in the April and then took this fight on like short notice and on 4 or 5 weeks notice. I think I was on holiday when I took the fight. So when I actually come home and started dieting and doing everything, my body just wasn't ready for it. I probably shouldn't have fought, but it did. You know what I mean? The walkouts used to be bossing that little small venue in the O2. I think I'm about to get whacked with a big punch here as well, to be honest. Take down, lovely, easy work. Got on top. This is a fight I love. I'm in side control on top, and I land a big knee to the body. And because I land the knee to the body, he turns away. And where he turns away, I take his back. I get the choke in, but then he rips my hand off. So I let him rip it off, release, go again, strengthen it back up. And that's it. That's all she wrote. And then there's me going absolutely bananas. To be honest, I can't even really explain what I'm like on the floor. People always say it when they come and roll with me or come and train with me, like, I've never trained with anyone like you, it's weird. And that's the only way to describe it, to be honest. I'm a proper weirdo. I'm like a fish or something. Next one was me world title fight against Johnny Frazier a couple of months after I fought Teddy Riley. And everyone was questioning why I should be fighting for the belt after I missed weight, and they were right. I probably shouldn't fight for the belt after missing weight, but I did, and the rest is history. He looked like a mean little dude, Johnny Frazier as well. Never forget the atmosphere in there. The atmosphere was ridiculous. And never forget that, because I was fuming with myself. That's one of the worst takedowns I've ever shot in a fight. You can actually see as I stand up, I'm shaking my head. And then from here, this is where we bolt into it. Flying knee, hit him with the right hand, he goes down, and then it's just ground and pound from there. Stoppage. That is up there with the best feelings in the world. With me team, then in the crowd, celebrating with me mates and me family. Winning that belt's probably one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. One of the biggest moments in my career by far, but it was the fact that I was celebrating it there with all my friends, my family, my team. That was what made it special. Can't wait to do this in Anfield. Gonna be sick. As Brad Wharton said, you thought the Beatles were big in Liverpool. Hey, you thought. This was my first fight at lightweight, and my actual physique is just... I look like a little boy still. I look like a child, and I'm fighting at the same weight I fight at now. No wonder I fought for the belt a few months later and got manhandled in the later rounds. So looking back, I'm so happy I never took the first offer the UFC handed out to me, because it was before then. I wasn't nowhere near a man. I don't even think I'd matured mentally, never mind physically. You know what I mean? I was still about 12 in the head. Everything happens for a reason, lad, and I turned the UFC down twice for a reason, and I was right. And just like Teddy Riley, Alexis Savides, someone else who I overlooked. He was strong, didn't think his grappling would actually be that good. Thought I'd school him, and his grappling was not bad at all. The first round was a very back and forth affair. I had him in a sub, he had me in a sub, I had him in a sub, he had me in a sub. And then started the second, Savides tries to come out and take me head off. But as I say, this is when I had no striking at all. My striking was bad. And then he pushes me against the cage, wrist control. Ba-boom. Too easy that, you know. Then triangles are where it's happening. Just like against CONRAD, I got the angle and just started popping that arm. You can see me hips push up as elbows start to pop out of place. If he doesn't tap there, his arm's gonna snap. There's the tap. And this is one of the best feelings ever as well, to be honest, because I knew all my mates were stacked cage hard. Oh, that's sick, you know. I'll never forget it as well, because they knocked the barriers down. I can remember all like Graham and everyone from Cage Warriors coming over, thinking, oh, is there gonna be trouble here, is there gonna be trouble? And all my mates went, oh, one sec, lad. Pick the barriers up, we'll sort that for you. This was just as COVID was coming in. UFC got cancelled this weekend. It was like the first fight behind closed doors, so it was a bit of a surreal feeling. My opponent changed a week out because I had an Italian opponent and he couldn't make her over. I had to get an Irishman who'd fought 2 weeks before to jump in. So I ended up fighting Decky Dalton, and give him his due, he's got a big set of balls on him. There's no one else to take the fight. I wanted to strike in this fight. He hits me with a left hook and wakes me up. And then I hit him with like a left hook backhand. He makes a terrible mistake. He throws a kick and falls on his back, and then from there I end up on his back. You see it a lot in fights, people will like catch a head kick or catch a punch and they'll rush in and they'll land on top of the person, and the person will wrap them up and keep hold, and they won't get the finish and they'll lose the fight. When I seen him fall like that, I stepped in. I knew he was going to tie and up kick me. When he went to do that, I bowled him over. Fight IQ plays a big part in our sport, and that's what a lot of people don't take into consideration. I tried to choke back and my hand was fucked, so it didn't work. So I just started punching instead. Started to hit him with hands, and that's it. Flattened him out. Started punching. And I went absolutely bananas after that. Absolutely bananas. As the commentator said, I did not need a crowd there to get me hype. Just dancing like in the cage after it. Oh, great stuff. My last ever Cage Warriors fight, when I fought Decky Dalton, I was meant to fight David Martinez because of all COVID restrictions. He could not come over at the time. Well, a year prior, someone had missed weight by 10 pounds and I couldn't fight them, so it was like everything was just going wrong on purpose for me. So when Martinez actually did make it over and we actually did step in the cage together, I was proving a point and I was letting everyone know there's levels to this shit. So like here, I look different here from the last fight. Catch him with a lovely kick here. I love that kick, you know, the kick just plants him right in the chin and it sets everything up. Stepped in with punches, knee as usual, judo throw. Boom! That's the start of the end. As soon as I get that judo throw and I start, take his back, start punching, he just gives me the choke. Like a 25-30 second flurry from the feet to a throw to a choke and it was over. And then I ran right over to the camera, looked right at it and started screaming, "Where's my UFC contract?" And then the dance came back out. When I was younger I was just a grappler, but now I'm an all-round fighter that can do anything. I could get in there and box with a boxer, or kickbox with a kickboxer, or Thai box with a Thai boxer, or I could go and wrestle with a Division 1 wrestler, or I could grapple with a world jiu-jitsu or sambo champion. I've already proved that I can become a world champion, and I'm going to become a world champion in the biggest organisation in the world, in the UFC. Not because of me jiu-jitsu, not because of me wrestling, not because of me striking, because of the way I put everything together and how much I believe in myself. Simple as that.